Hello there, right here guys, we got a brand new 1.20 snapshot. This is 22w46a. We got new piglin mob heads, better chiseled bookshelves, and some nerfs to my portal mob farms. So leave a like and let's get into it. New piglin mob head in survival, as well as playable mob heads on note blocks. This was teased earlier this week, and I'll let you guys know about it on my community post. So make sure you guys have that bell notification turned on, otherwise you'll miss these. And while you're at it, follow me over at my Twitter. The new piglin mob head can be placed on the player's head, and when they walk, their ears will flap. The way you actually get this is by having a charge creeper blow up a piglin, and when it dies, it will drop the head, similar to getting like zombies, skeletons, and creeper heads. Not only that, they added some new functions to the mob heads. If you place them over top of a note block and then you power them with redstone, listen to this. That's right guys, you can actually play the same noises that these mobs make. This also applies to the other ones. Here's a zombie. Here's creeper. Oh, I love the creeper. It makes the hissing noise like it's gonna blow up. Skeleton. Wither skeleton. Dragon. Quite loud. And the Steve head. What does the Steve say? Which doesn't actually have any noise. This will be a cool way to add different ambient noises into your build without actually having to have those mobs inside of them. You can also do pranks like people thinking the Ender Dragon is in your base. You can also get these noises just by activating the note block by right clicking it. Now this does change the actual notes of it, but doesn't change the noise. Oh my goodness! What cool ideas do you guys have for these? Now just like the dragon can be powered beside it, this will make the mouth open and close like it's trying to eat you. The same thing can actually be done with the new piglin head. If you power it, look at that guys, the ears flap. Oh, that's so cute. And you guys know my quest to farm up every single item in the game of Minecraft meant that I also designed a farm to actually farm up the different mob heads. And with my newest version of the farm, it is actually extremely slim and quite simple to build up for what an insane thing actually does, being automatically producing mob heads. Make sure you guys are subbed to the channel so you don't miss out when I upload this. So in today's stream here, I will definitely be upgrading my automatic mob head farm. So it also works with these new piglin ones. The new chiseled bookshelves also got a huge improvement. That is, now you can actually place the books depending on where you click. There is currently 6 slots, so if I click on this slot over here, I can place a book directly over there. And let's say I got this enchanted one and I want to place it in this corner over here, I can also just click right there. That is amazing. It gives some extra function to the bookshelves. What do you think, Wandering Trader? Now the downside with this is if you just try to click anywhere on the bookshelf, it doesn't actually place the book in the next slot over. You have to actually click on the front of it. And if you happen to click over top of a book that's already there, it doesn't work. You have to click in the empty slot. Now I think what they should do is probably make it so that if you click anywhere else, it should just place it into the next slot over. When it comes to retrieving it, you cannot also just retrieve it from any side, which also, once again, I think they should allow this. So when you right click it, it just takes it from whatever's on the top left and works its way down. This way you can still make like secret doors where you click on the back side. Of course, when you do retrieve them, it does give you whichever book was in that slot, which is awesome. Now when it comes to the redstone function and comparators, it still works the same way. So whatever was interacted last will be remembered. So if I go ahead and place a book in the very last slot, you can see even though there's just a single book in there, we actually have a very long redstone signal. So now it's much easier to actually interact with the redstone. Let's say I just want to make a signal of 2. I just click on the 2 slot. I don't have to worry about any other books that were previously in there actually affecting it. So you could access a door just by like pulling out a book and placing it back in again, and that would give you the right signal. And anyone else who came couldn't really tell exactly which book you moved. You can use several of these bookshelves as a combination lock, so you have to get the exact number, let's say 3 times in a row, which would make it very hard to guess. What other ideas could this be used for? Now when it comes to placing books in with hoppers, it will actually fill it from top left down to the bottom. One of you guys commented in my last snapshot video that if you fill up a bookshelf in survival and then right click it with whatever enchanted book of your choice, it will actually duplicate the book in your hand, which is so crazy. The more you click, it just adds more to them. Not only do you actually just produce books out of nothing, but you can make the books stack, which is not normally possible. Look at that, guys. And it works for whatever types of books you can put into these things. So this is another type of rare you can obtain in survival, if you don't mind updating to the snapshot. If you're curious about other crazy rares you can get in survival, check out this playlist after the video. And to learn how overstacked items react in survival, I covered it in this video where we got 2.1 billion items in a single stack. I'll have those linked below. But guys, we also got a nerf today. As the inventor of the portal mob farms, this nerf is quite dear to me, and that is some of the mobs no longer will spawn inside of nether portals. The way all my designs work is we have this nice obsidian here, and mobs can actually spawn on top of it. That's because the portal blocks themselves don't have any collision, so they can spawn inside them and will be immediately teleported into the other dimension, allowing the game to free up the mob cap so it can spawn in tons and tons of mobs. So what exactly was nerfed? Well, Enderman skeletons as well as wither skeletons have been changed when spawning in the nether dimension. They will no longer spawn in light levels of 11, which nether portals are, and instead will have to spawn if the light is 7 or lower. So that means 3 of my different farms will not work. Now I have a whole bunch of them. You guys can check them all out in this video here. So it means my big design over there, which was in a soul sand biome producing gas skeletons endermen, will no longer produce the skeletons endermen, so we just get gas out of that, which is actually kind of nice because before, in order to just get gas, you'd have to do some extra lighting up of the platform. Now this also affects my enderman only farm, which is built here in a warped forest, and will also prevent endermen from spawning inside of the basic version of a mini underload farm. And this changes my more recent nether portal wither skeleton farm. This thing is built inside of a fortress intersection, and wither skeletons would just immediately spawn inside of it and be teleported into the overworld, along with some other fortress mobs. So now if you run this farm, you'll just get like the blazes, the zombified piglins, and the magma cubes, and you won't get the wither skeletons or the skeletons. So if you want to make a wither skeleton farm, I still recommend using my famous wither skeleton farm, which is actually really easy to set up, and I'll have it linked below. Now they said that this change was actually done to purposely nerf my portal mob farms, but this change isn't actually a shock because they did warn that they were going to try to prevent mobs from spawning directly inside of nether portals, as this behavior isn't favorable in all cases. The odd thing is, with the mobs they decided to nerf are mobs that actually did not even previously work with my nether portal mob farms until they changed it in 1.18. Now in this change they did some other weird things, like they made sure all mobs in the overworld that were hostile should spawn with a light level of 0, so people wouldn't have to worry about things being a light level of 7 spawning in mobs. But here in the nether, they wanted so mobs could also spawn with all the different fire and lava that's around. So they tweaked it so that most mobs in nether are able to spawn with a light level of 11 or lower. And this change also got applied to the enderman, the skeleton, and the wither skeleton, which actually made more of my mini underload nether portal farms possible than before, so you can still use most of them, and if you want to use any of them that are getting nerfed, just use them before upgrading to 1.20, as they are still currently the fastest type of mob farms in the game. A few guys told me that you noticed that the texture on top of these green bamboo, also known as the blocks of bamboo, was the same texture that was on the stripped variation. So now they're changed. You can see this is green, just like the sides. And then when you strip it, it's the more yellower tanner color. So now we have 2 different colors of waffles. Now they also came in and changed the actual planks for the bamboo. So this here is the stripped variation, and these are the planks over here. And they said they changed them so that they will kind of match the same texture as other planks in the game. That way when you place them side by side, they kind of transition very seamlessly between the 2 textures. With the last week's snapshot of the new bamboo blocks, it was no longer possible to craft up the bamboo planks using the 2x2 in the grid. This was confirmed to be working as intended. This means it will cost 9 bamboo in order to turn around and make 2 planks instead of just costing 8. So with this confirmed change, it's just a little bit more expensive to make the planks, and you have to put them through the crafting grid twice in order to do it. I really wish they would bring a stonecutter-like workstation, but works for other blocks like wood, because with one of these you can skip multiple crafting stages, such as going from stone to stone bricks, and then going to slab, but all with a single craft. We also got another revamp of the creative menu. First off, here in the redstone tab, they redid it. So a lot of the very common stuff are more towards the top, and overall the stuff is lumped into different themes, with being like essentials, then being like common things to activate, then unique activators, then common functional blocks like pistons, then a bunch of different types of containers, then we got a bunch of transportation things, and then things that are activated by redstone. King B-Dogs was asking on Twitter for feedback on the previous design, and overall I thought it was much better than before, obviously, but a couple things that I often use are things like trapdoors or like TNT, and I consider these kind of like basic things. And for me, it's so annoying to just scroll down to get these type of items or anything else that's considered kind of common. But we do also have the saved hotbar, which I do carry my TNT as well as trapdoors here. So I'll probably be kind of revamping this. So whatever's kind of harder to reach in these tabs, I'll just place into the save one. Overall, I still think the worst tab is the natural blocks. There's just so many of them. I don't really know the correct answer to this, but I feel like they could be split into 2 tabs. Now, besides minecarts and rails being in the redstone, they also got added to the utilities ones. They're down here with the boats. What do you guys think about the creative menu? There's also a new command, which is fill biome. You could choose an area where you want to fill. So let's go from here to here. Then you can choose what biome you want it to be. And then when you hit enter, now, if we pull up F3, this is normally a beach. If we walk over top of this, we can see now it's a badlands. This is pretty cool. Before you had to use like third-party programs in order to be able to switch out biomes in the Minecraft world. This is quite useful for like testing or like custom maps where you want a certain type of like leaf color or different particles to appear in certain biomes. Now it isn't actually going to change any of the blocks, but it will change stuff like what can actually spawn in the area. I'll definitely be using this more often now that we have it in game. Along with it, they also now have an execute if biome, so something will only be executed if it's a certain biome. In this snapshot, we also got a new menu here in options called telemetry data. This is something they added to collect similar data that they're doing with the Xbox. The two main things are world loaded and world unloaded. This keeps track of how long you've been playing Minecraft and then when you stop playing. They said they collect this data to see how fun Minecraft really is for their players. It also includes this data over here about your gaming session. You could change if you want to have them collect the minimal amount of data, or you can say all data, which includes other things like performance and how long it takes your world to load. You also can see your data and give feedback on the feedback page about your experience playing the game. There was also changes to the way textures are loaded in the game, as well as atlas configuration. So keep this in mind when doing textures. There was also a few notable bug fixes this week. When it comes to the 2x2 advancement, you're supposed to have to breed up 2 of each mob. This means camels too, so now they've been added. In the last couple of snapshots, when placing down mob heads, they'd always face backwards. The glow and behold advancement, which is applying glow ink onto signs, now works also for hanging signs. In the past, ender crystals didn't knock you back as much, but for some reason the new snapshots, they were definitely throwing you backwards, despite having resistance, so this was changed back. Camels will no longer have this weird, very slow walk. And these crazy walking speeds with the frog and the camel are now fixed. With the recent game rule where Snowfall can actually add snow layers. When layers are added, entities would slip through them. So here you can see like this armor stand hasn't moved, where this one where it got a layer added now fell downwards and is shorter. So this will no longer happen. You guys are wondering what a wither mob spawner and a dragon one would look like. And as you can see, when you put these spawn eggs inside of them, the dragon shows up as a big hitbox as well as all the small ones kind of stacked on top of each other. And as you expected, it actually spawns in the dragon. Look at it, destroyed its own spawner. And the wither also works. Notice this tab here and how it's slightly misaligned? Well, I didn't, but this is now fixed. In the last snapshot, they accidentally added it so villagers cannot actually open doors, so they were stuck inside. This also applied to piglins, which now has been resolved. In the pause menu here, this little game menu that should be clicked. Listen to this. Now that's not a button, you're not supposed to be able to click that. So they removed that in this newest snapshot. If you ever gave your character an effect for a very long time, you might have noticed these little asterisks that pop up where the time should pop up. That wasn't very helpful, so they went ahead and added the numbers. If you would use commands to summon an enderman holding a powder snow, when actually killed, instead of giving you nothing, it would actually give you the powder snow bucket, meaning you get a bucket out of it. They fixed this bug as well as other ones related to giving endermen weird items. There was a problem that you could not hold down tab to zip through all the different options in different areas of Minecraft. So that's been reintroduced. For everyone that plays on a Minecraft testing server, they fixed a common bug that we had a problem with. And that is when we would disable so spectators wouldn't be able to generate chunks, it would sometimes cause people to freeze when they load in the game. I'm excited this is resolved. When going between the dimensions, there was a hard limit of 2 seconds delay, despite chunks being loaded on the other side. Now it should load as soon as you actually are able to show everything. When it comes to commands, you can make it so that it has a limit of 1, meaning that once it finds something, it should stop searching. Despite this being how they wanted it to work, it wasn't actually working this way, but instead would create immense lag. This has now been resolved. Now join me as I discover new crazy things with the snapshot. That's on my Twitch, and the server's open to my viewers, and the server's from Bisect Hosting. With them, you guys can run your very own Minecraft servers, plus 25% off if you use code RAY. Or check out these new tricks for 1.20, or my playlist about survival rares. We're so close to 6,000 followers on Twitter, so welcome if you recently joined. I sometimes even post real life photos over there. Thank you for watching, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.